Now the third part of cardiovascular system is blood vessels. Blood vessels are the body's highways that allow blood to flow quickly and efficiently from the heart to every region of the body and back again. This blood vasculature of the body can be broadly classified into arterial system, capillaries, and venous system. The normal circulation of blood starts from heart that pumps blood to the arterial system. This system carries blood from heart to the rest of the body. From there it enters the level of capillaries, where exchange of material takes place at cellular level. And then from there it enters venous system that carry blood from body back to the heart for next circulation. Wall of the blood vessels. All these blood vessels contain a hollow area called the lumen through which blood is able to flow. Around the lumen is the wall of the vessel, which may be thin in the case of capillaries or very thick in the case of arteries. Wall of the vessels is composed of 3 layers or tunics. Tunica intima, that is the innermost layer made up of endothelial cells. Tunica media, that is the middle layer composed of smooth muscle fibers and thick elastic tissues. And the outermost, tunia adventitia, composed of connective tissue with irregular fibers. Thickness of these tunica may vary among these blood vessels, with arteries having the thickest wall, veins having thick while capillaries having thin wall. Along with these tunics, many veins have flap-like valves projecting inward from their linings that prevents backward flow of blood. Veins mostly have all 3 tunics, but these have thinner walls and larger lumens than the arteries to which they correspond. After this brief anatomy, let's try to understand the physiology of these vessel systems one by one. Starting with arterial system. Basically, all those vascular tubes are included in this system that are capable of carrying blood away from the heart towards the rest of the body. Arterial system comprises arteries and arterioles. Here, the largest artery in the body is aorta. It is a cane-shaped artery that starts in the left ventricle of heart. Aorta can be divided into 4 parts or sections. From its origin, aorta extends up a short distance. That part is called ascending aorta. From there it curves down, making an aortic arch and giving rise to descending aorta that travels down through the chest. It then passes through the diaphragm and enters abdominal cavities. Here it is called as abdominal aorta, that ends at pelvic region. Diameter of these sections vary, but the average diameter of aorta is around 3 cm. Many branches then originates from these 4 sections of aorta that are simply called arteries. These branches of aorta or arteries supply oxygenated blood to all the parts of the body, like arteries from ascending aorta, like coronary artery, supply oxygenated blood to the heart itself. Arteries arising from the aortic arch supply blood to the head, neck, and arms. Small arteries that arises from descending thoracic aorta supply blood to the ribs and some chest structures. Then the abdominal aorta, that begins at the diaphragm, split to become the paired iliac arteries in the lower abdomen. Most of the major organs receive blood from arteries originating from abdominal aorta. Diameter of arteries typically ranges between 0.1 mm to 10 mm. These arteries then further divide into smaller branches that are called arterioles. The arterioles are the smallest arteries, with diameter of about 0.01 to 0.3 mm. In certain areas, they have all 3 vascular layers, but when they are close to the capillaries, they comprise a single smooth muscle layer overlying endothelial cells. At the level of arterioles, diameter decreases. So here, resistance is offered to blood flow in the arterioles, and so these vessels are called resistant vessels. As more pressure is needed to push blood through them than arteries, this is because they are more constricted. Arterioles are then continued as capillaries, that are another important type of blood vessels. Capillaries are small, thin-walled vessels having a diameter of about 5 to 8 micrometer. Capillaries are functionally very important because the exchange of materials between the blood and the tissues occurs through these vessels. Capillaries are the smallest diameter blood vessels which connect the smallest arterioles to the smallest venules. The walls of capillaries are also composed of endothelium and form the semipermeable layer through which substances in blood are exchanged with substances in tissue fluids surrounding cells of the body. Their walls contain a thin tunica intima and nothing else. Therefore, this structure of the capillary wall differs from a vein or an artery. There are 3 types of capillaries, which include continuous, fenestrated, and sinusoidal. In continuous capillaries, the endothelium forms a complete lining. Most of the body is supplied with continuous capillaries. In fenestrated capillaries, window-like pores penetrate the endothelial lining, which allow rapid exchange of solutes and water between the interstitial fluid and plasma. These capillaries are mostly located in absorptive area, whereas sinusoidal capillaries or sinusoids are similar to fenestrated capillaries, but are more irregular in shape with a flattened appearance. These capillaries have gaps between nearby endothelial cells. Their basement membrane is either absent or very thin that allow free exchange of solutes and water, including plasma proteins, between interstitial fluid and blood. Capillaries then combine together to form interwoven networks that are referred to as capillary beds or capillary plexuses. The term microcirculation is used to describe blood flow through the capillary beds, which lie between the arterioles and the venules. Just one arteriole often connects to dozens of capillaries, which empty into several venules. Now at this level, venous system starts. Venous system is composed of those vascular tubes that carry deoxygenated blood, except pulmonary vein, from the rest of the body towards the heart. This system comprises of venules and veins. The capillaries join to form small veins called venules. These vessels range between 8 and 100 micrometer in diameter, with the smallest venules made up only of endothelium. Venules then combine to form veins. Veins are another important blood vessels that carry deoxygenated blood from the body back to the heart. Vein walls are similar but not identical to arteries. Because they have thinner walls and are less elastic than arteries, their lumens have a greater diameter. Most veins in the extremities have valves. These valves aid in returning blood to the heart opening if blood flow is toward the heart and closing if it reverses. Veins can contain large amounts of blood. They are also called blood reservoirs and capacitance vessels. The great veins of the body are called vena cava. That can be superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Superior vena cava receives blood from head, neck, brain, and upper limbs of the body and carry it to the right atrium of the heart, while inferior vena cava collects blood from the bottom of the diaphragm, including the abdominal organs and lower limb of the body. It also carries this deoxygenated blood to the right atrium of the heart. The arterial system, capillaries, and venous system completes this third component of blood, that are blood vessels. So this was all about the components of cardiovascular system. Here we explained the structure and function of all 3 main components of cardiovascular system, that are blood, heart, and blood vessels.